Hi, I'm Kylie and Neal, founder of Culture, and welcome to Can Talk Culture. In this podcast, I sit down with some of Australia's most progressive founders and CEOs to explore the heart of their company cultures, what drives them, what they value, and what it's really like to work for the companies they lead. You'll also find occasional episodes packed with practical HR insights to help you build safer, stronger, and more trusted workplaces. So whether you're a new team member getting to know your workplace, curious about creating remarkable company cultures, or just wanting to know more about implementing HR best practice, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome to Can Talk Culture. I'm Kylie Neal and I have Georgina Walker with me again, who is a people and culture consultant at Can Culture. So today, Georgina, we are talking about day one and beyond and how onboarding is a culture setting moment. So we want to elevate the experience of onboarding from it being purely an administrative or HR driven task to a leadership moment. What ingredients do you think are important when we think about day one and beyond? Let's just focus on induction. Let's just focus on the first few days or the first week of a new starter coming on board.
For me, it's the wow moments or moments that matter. So first impressions do count, and that goes both ways. So if I'm a new starter coming into an organisation, I want to feel welcomed. I want to feel like people know I'm coming into the office. It's not just something random, who's that person, and then vice versa as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many little touch points that can create those moments that matter. You know, I think from a day one perspective, having somebody's computer set up, having their workstation set up, having bits of stationery there that they might need. You know, I've started at places where they even, you know, have a welcome sign sitting on your desk.
Yes.
Like it is that it's the warm and fuzzies really that you want to experience. I think when new starters start, they can be a bit apprehensive. They don't know what to expect. Yes, they've been through the recruitment process, but day one is about really showcasing what the organisation is all about. And it really does set the tone for the rest of their employment. Really, it is that emotional attachment that people have when they come in on day one, bright-eyed, bushy-tail, eyes wide open. They're absorbing a lot of information on those first few days, but it is the energy and the vibe and the culture is what really matters. So I think that's where it is a leadership moment. It is the responsibility of the leader to orchestrate those first few days in a way that's really meaningful for them. It's about the leader positioning themselves as their leader. You know, if we talk a lot in Can Culture about having rituals and having a rhythm of work and having the moments that matter and about that embedding of culture activities. And if the leader can carry that new starter, when we did the podcast on recruitment, we talked about our role in taking that candidate through the journey. It's the leader's role during onboarding to take the employee through that journey.
Yes, I think it's certainly a team effort.
Yes, yes. Have you had any experiences where you've gone through a recruitment process, you've led it, so it's been amazing, they've had such a great experience, and they've started in an organisation and things have fallen over pretty quickly?
To be honest, I can probably only speak for myself when it comes to starting at an organisation. I've had really great onboarding experiences with Can Culture. I came in, You were there, you had everything set up for me, a little coffee cup, a notebook. I felt the fuzzy feelings. I felt very welcomed and a part of the team straight away.
Amazing.
On the other hand, I've had experiences where I've walked into a job, no one knows I'm coming.
Yes.
People are literally looking at me like, who's that girl? I have to try and find the manager, and you feel pretty crap.
Yes.
You don't feel welcomed. You almost feel like you've walked into the wrong door, and that sets a really negative tone. And in that particular experience of mine, I carried that negative vibe and I ended up leaving the company.
Right.
Yes.
And I think I can't note anything specific, but there is a lot of research that's done on the way that we emotionally attach to organisations during those first impression moments, which onboarding is absolutely one of those. I always like to think of it of when managers are setting up the induction schedule. So the first couple of days, what are the activities that don't overwhelm, but that do provide really clear structure. Some managers don't like to work that way. So sometimes it doesn't always land with them.
Yeah.
But from my perspective, I think best option for leaders is to set out those first 2 or 3 days to make sure there's a really nice mix of being introduced to people, but being introduced to people on purpose.
Yes.
With purpose, with something to talk about.
Don't just shove them in a room together.
No. And, we talk about meet and greets. Yes, they need to meet them. Yes, they need to have small talk and get to know each other. But I think just a topic to talk about, set some structure so that they're not just putting names to faces and the context of their first couple of days being nothing more than that, because they're excited. They want to get in. They've just walked into their new community, to their new tribe, to their new team, and really being able to help them structure that with the right people and the right activities on the first few days is really crucial. So what do you think are some common onboarding pitfalls that can lead to early disengagement?
There's actually a statistic. I think 20% of people resign within the first 45 days. And I think that is due to a poor onboarding experience. And like I said, just spoke to my experience, lack of awareness of a person starting, not knowing your role specifically.
Yes.
I think there's so many things.
Yeah. There really are, because I think people underestimate the emotional attachment and people underestimate the ability to attach a new starter to the culture of the organisation. If there's any doubts of role clarity or who they're supposed to be in the room with, or if they're sat in a corner and told to watch training modules for the first 3 days because nobody has time for them, that tells them, that's a really good indication to them that the business doesn't have time for them, that the business doesn't want to invest in them. They just want to sit them in the corner so that they can self-train. It's great for people to be autonomous. We live in a digital world, so there should absolutely be digital components and digital training and all those types of things. But the way it's orchestrated and threaded through the experiences of the first few days and the first week is really, really important.
So how would you plan your first week? What's a perfect first week?
The perfect first week. I think having a lot of structure around the first 3 days is important. And then towards the end of the week, you can kind of taper it off to give them time to catch up.
Digest,
yeah.
Yes.
I think there's a real balance between not putting too much in an induction structure, like an induction schedule. So making sure that it's not back to back to back to back and you've got 8 meetings each day for 3 days. But having a couple of catch-ups that are purposeful and intentional with really clear definition as to how each other's roles align with each other, having the right introduction to the company strategy, understanding that the person coming in doesn't know the broader picture of the organisation. And I think sometimes without without the background of the company and without starting from scratch, hiring managers sometimes lose that, and then they just go, okay, well, this is what we're doing today and this is the project that we're working on today. Without giving that background, it's not taking them on the journey of how the company started, what the journey of the organisation has been to get it to where it is today. And then you start with it being more task orientated. So I think it is starting from broader picture, where the company's come from over the course of the 3 days to where the company's at today, and then to hone in, and this could be on day 3, honing in on the actual job tasks and almost going through line by line, and not saying I'm going to sit down with your job description, but having enough practice and examples of what the tasks look like that they can do within an induction schedule, I think is really important. And also, understanding from a culture element, there is rituals and there is a tribe that they're joining. So, having morning teas or having team lunches or showing them where the good places are to get lunch, like
coffee shop.
The coffee.
Yeah. The coffee shop.
The coffee shop, the barista's name.
Exactly.
The little coffee cards that have the buy 5, get 1 free.
Yes.
All of those things are very, very important.
Mm-hmm. Yes. One standout for me is the team dynamic. So with one of my clients, they, on my first day, took me out for a team lunch, and I felt like the most important person in the world.
Yes.
And it just created that instant team dynamic for me.
Yes.
So what about beyond the first week?
Yes.
First month, first 3 months, what?
Well, that's what our next episode is all about.
Perfect.
Yes, the first 90 days. So we're going to cut it up. So stay tuned for the next episode where Georgina and I continue this conversation and we go beyond that first week and we go into the full structure of onboarding. So thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me on Can Talk Culture. I'm Kylie Neal. I hope today's episode gave you a clearer view into the values driving your workplace, or sparked new ideas about building a remarkable company culture. If you're a founder or CEO interested in sharing your culture story, or if you're looking to build a safer, stronger, and more trusted workplace, let's connect. Visit canculture.com. That's KANKULTURE.com to learn more. Please hit that subscribe button to hear more real conversations with founders and CEOs and hands-on episodes full of people-first culture advice. I look forward to connecting with you on our next episode.